Hey, howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to Adjective Now Gaming presents Sunset and Stardew. This is the first time we've played Sunset and Stardew actually after sunset for a while. Usually we do a recording like in the afternoon on the weekends. But this is a special Monday night edition of Sunset and Stardew coming your way. I am joined once again by my good Buddy Ben. How's it going, Ben?
Hey, I'm doing all right, buddy. How are you?
Doing all right. What do you say we get to farming?
Yeah,
Farming's good. You got to farm to
farm
eat. You
time.
got to farm to eat, So, all right. I don't remember how to play Stardew Valley. It's been a while.
D-
Let's look at the television and see what's going on there. Oh, rerun of the Queen of Sauce. All right. So yeah, today's a Monday, and it was a Monday ass Monday.
d- yeah,
Yeah,
tell me about it.
it was busy today.
Yeah.
The job I work at, I won't go into too great a detail, but it's a medical records job, and so what happens is since we don't work Saturday and Sunday, we get overloaded with charts from the weekend when we come back in on Monday. And on this
Mm,
particular Monday, not only were all of my queues full pretty much to the brim, but I had to cover for a woman who was out today. So, yeah, it was a real Karen situation. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like, come on, Karen. But anyway, no, it was just a busy day at work, and then my body just has not been feeling it today. I've had a headache all day, and I've been kind of achy all day, so I hope I'm like not getting sick or something.
yeah,
But I try to go to the gym Monday through Friday, and today my body just wasn't having it. I went and worked out anyway, and I feel better now, at least.
that's good, dude.
But man, I today was the day when I mentally and physically just did not want to go.
Yeah.
But I went, and then when I got home, I played the hot new video game that launched today, that Apex Legends.
Mm,
So for those of you who do not know, Respawn Entertainment is the game studio responsible for the Titanfall video games, which Titanfall 1 was just whatever. It was an online multiplayer only game, no single player in that. And I played a decent amount of that when it was out because I needed games for my Xbox One when I first got it. I think that launched pretty like early in the Xbox's lifespan, didn't it?
yeah, I think so.
It wasn't like a launch title or anything by any means, but I remember it being one of the games I was most excited for. Like once I had had the Xbox for a while and was waiting for some stuff to come out, and I always liked the way the shooting felt in that game. Cut to a couple years later, or however many years later it was, and they released Titanfall 2, and that game will always be one of my favorite shooters of all time. I loved that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the campaign in Titanfall 2 was really, really good. The multiplayer was
Oh,
just
yeah, I
like
remember.
more of
I
the
love that.
same, but the campaign was very good. So, anyway, long story short, they released a game today called Apex Legends. It was rumored that they were just going to like surprise release this game, and they did it. They did it today. It is a free-to-play battle royale game, so in the vein of a Fortnite or a PUBG, or in this case, the next closest thing is it's most comparable to Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Blackout mode. It kind of has like that same like futuristic look to it, and
Yeah.
has a lot of like the running and sliding thing to it. But it kind of just feels
Hmm.
like a Titanfall battle royale game, and that's definitely not a bad thing. It feels pretty good. It
That's kind
feels,
of cool.
yeah, it feels pretty fluid. And I was telling Ben before the stream started here, I was playing with my friend John, who will be on one of our streams here before too long. Um, he and I played a couple matches tonight, and of course, the first few, kind of just feeling it out, didn't go great, got killed pretty much instantly. And then we got paired up with a really good player, well, as good as you can be for the game only having been out for the last couple hours. But he had like 3 or 4 kills, and John and I had like maybe one or two, and it came down to us and one other squad, which it's a squad-based battle royale game, and you can respawn as long as one or more of your squad members is alive. So as opposed
Hmm.
to PUBG or Fortnite, where you once you're dead, you're dead, you can respawn in this.
Yeah.
So John and I were both down. Our teammate was alive, fortunately, and he tried to revive us, but the enemy team basically started camping over where we were, And
Uh-oh.
so the guy, like, I don't understand all the heroes yet. They all have different powers. It's almost like Call of Duty Blackout mode meets Overwatch. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
character-based, battle royale shooter. And so this guy's character had like this invisible power-up of some kind where he like started running really fast and he was invisible while he was doing it.
Hmm.
And so he used that to win the match because he basically like snuck up on them and just shot them because they were just
But
like crouching over our bodies.
okay.
And the respawn system is really interesting because when you die, you turn into like this respawn like module thing. So you're not
Mm-hmm.
really truly dead until all of your teammates are also dead. And so at one point I died and the other teammate died and John had to pick up both of our like respawn modules and he had to try to run to
Uh-huh.
find like a respawn like tower thing. And then you plug those into it and it brings us back and it redrops us out of a plane again.
That's interesting.
It's a really interesting game. I can't say, I mean, I've only played about 4 or 5 matches of it and 4 of those were extremely short.
Hmm.
So I can't comment one way or another whether I like it or love it. I definitely don't hate it. I think I really like it a
Sure.
lot, but it's going to take some more playing to develop a full opinion on it. But hey, for a free game that just dropped out of nowhere today and from a company that makes games that I really like a lot, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that game is available for free on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. So feel free to download it and try it out. And if you're one of the people watching and you've tried it out, leave us a comment and let us know what you think of the game. I can see myself playing it for a good long while. And from what I heard,
Hmm.
Respawn Entertainment's planning on supporting the game for a good long while. So, yeah. What about you? Have you been playing anything interesting or new lately?
Oh. I started playing some Hitman 2.
Okay. I've heard that game's good.
I liked what I played of it.
Yeah. It's more of just Hitman 1 in a way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played like the intro mission, and then like my controller was being weird, so I was like, I'm gonna stop playing this right now.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed what I was playing of it,
Yeah.
and I definitely want to. I was waiting for because I had the original, and so I was like, I want to play through all of it because I don't think I finished the original story at all,
Yeah.
and so I want to play like everything.
Yeah.
So like, there's a way you can import the original levels into Hitman 2.
And then they're like kind of remastered levels too, aren't
Yeah,
they? Okay.
yeah. And so I want to be like, oh, I'll just play through all of it. So I think I
Okay.
might do some of that this weekend.
Cool.
Yeah,
I've
I've been
only
playing that.
seen Giant Bomb play that game, but I like watching. I think I like watching other people play that more than I like playing it myself.
Yeah.
But I have dabbled in the Hitman series prior to this. I'd say Blood Money was my first favorite one out of all of them.
Okay.
Because it didn't feel like you had to be super stealthy.
Okay.
Because I like a lot of stealth games. I'm just not necessarily good at that aspect of video games.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like a good like Metal Gear Solid or a good like Splinter Cell or a good you know what I mean, that kind of game, or like a Hitman.
Sure.
But Blood Money was the first one that I played that I didn't feel like overly challenged or being really forced into being stealthy. And the thing I really like about the new Hitman games is that you're encouraged to be as creative as possible.
Yeah.
When taking enemies down, and I see that they've continued that in grand fashion in the new Hitman
Yeah.
game. And then what else? You said you're playing something else?
I downloaded Yakuza 0, but I know there's that trailer that came out for Kiwami 1,
Mm-hmm.
for Yakuza Kiwami, that's going to be a PC release at the end of this month.
Oh, okay.
So I think I might play that first. I might get
Okay.
that and then play that first, and then before I play 0.
I've only played a little bit of one Yakuza game, and I didn't necessarily care for the combat, so I never came back to it. But and so I don't know a lot about the Yakuza series. But is Kiwami 1 and 2? Is that a remake of the first 2 Yakuza games? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Yeah, I played 0, and I had no problem with the story or any of that stuff. The combat just never felt great to me, at least.
Okay.
I just couldn't get into it. I got it was either Kiwami or Kiwami. I think it's probably Kiwami was free as a PlayStation Plus game, and so that's on my system right now. So I could play that at some point, but I haven't necessarily felt the urge to do that yet. But
This
the
is
problem
tricky
is,
fish.
there's a lot of good games out right now, and that's a problem
Yeah.
for somebody who's trying to work 5 days a week and go to the gym 5 days a week too. But as far as other games I've been playing, I played through most of Leon's story in Resident Evil 2, the new Resident Evil
Okay.
2. And that game is very good. And
Yeah, that game
then
looks really good.
it is. And then I've also been playing that Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the Disney
the
game,
Disney game.
the
Um,
baby Disney game.
I have a lot of mixed feelings on that game. I know that I really like it a lot, but the best way I could put it, because it's been, for those of you that don't know a lot about Kingdom Hearts lore, I don't know a whole lot about the story, so I'm not going to go into great detail about the story because I didn't play a lot of the in-between games. But I did play a lot of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 proper when they were originally released. But I do know one thing. I do know that it's been 14 years in between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. And parts of this game definitely feel like they were made 14 years ago. And then other parts feel like they just thought of it the other day and put it in the game.
Huh.
Like the story just feels super rushed. Like it feels like every time you find a cool story moment or a cool thing to do, it's over immediately.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really strange. But other than that, the combat feels the best that I think it's ever felt.
Okay.
Which to me has been the draw for that series. Obviously, the Disney thing is like a big thing because I grew up with Disney movies, and so that's what got me interested in Kingdom Hearts as a kid. And then my friend Aaron has always been a really big Final Fantasy fan, so he introduced me to some Final Fantasy games. And so this is a perfect mix of Disney and Final Fantasy, but strangely enough, there are basically no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I heard something about that they really toned it down or something.
Yeah, which is fine because like they've introduced so many characters at this point that they had to find a way to resolve all of it. But I'm probably like maybe 4 hours away from the ending of it, or at least like the main chunk of the story. And I don't like if it keeps up at the pace it's at. I don't know how satisfying the end is going to be. Like I said, I didn't play like Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, but I've watched several videos on the story, so I'm in a good place with like understanding the story and everything as much as I can, as much as I realistically can for a series like that. But I don't know. There's something about it. Like obviously, it wasn't going to live up to every expectation I had. It's kind of like a Half-Life 3 situation. Like, how good could the game really be after all these years?
Sure.
But every time I think about a complaint, I just like tell myself to shut up because it's like I got this game at all, and that's a miracle in and of itself. But I don't want it to sound like I'm griping on it too much because I really do enjoy what I've played. But yeah, there's just some things about it, like obviously the weird story, and some of the mission designs feel kind of weird and clunky, which that's the way they felt then, but it's something that you think they would have fixed by now, but they haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really interesting game. I will say this, if you haven't been sold on Kingdom Hearts thus far, I don't know if this is the one to do it for you.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Because I feel like it was kind of pitched as that way.
It was, but it doesn't feel different enough. Like, it doesn't feel like more accessible in any way. It feels as convoluted as it ever has.
Huh.
At least, I mean, if you just want to jump into it and play it, like, and ignore the story completely, then yeah.
Yeah.
But unless you know at least, like, the majority of the story beats, like, you're not going to understand what's going on. Like, Aaron was even confused at times, and he, like, knows more about that story than anybody else I know.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Listened to a podcast about the lore of that story, and it sounds bonkers.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
I watched a 45-minute long recap on YouTube, and within like 10 minutes of starting that thing, my brain was so exhausted. We don't need gold corn anymore, do we? Or do we?
I think we do.
Okay, I've got 2 pieces.
Okay. I think we need 5 eventually.
But yeah, as far as gameplay, this is probably the most accessible Kingdom Hearts, but it doesn't do anything for story. Like, you're going to be just as lost with the story if you were in 1 and 2. 1 was the simplest. Like, I actually followed the story of 1 very easily because there wasn't as much going on then. But as soon as 2, and then Chain of Memories, and then, not Dream Drop Distance, what's the other one? Birth by Sleep. As soon as those came out, I didn't play them because I was like, Well, I mean, I just played Kingdom Hearts 2 and Chain of Memory, so I wasn't ready to play more Kingdom Hearts yet.
Sure.
And I just kind of never got around to it.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Are those middle games like supposed to be like really good?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I don't remember people like raving about them the way they did about like the main line games. I
Sure.
think that's part of the reason why I never got to them either. It's because I was like, why am I going to play just more of the same right now?
Yeah.
And then I just kind of never got around to it. Hey, found a library book. That's my second already on this recording. So you've been playing Hitman 2. You're thinking about playing Yakuza.
Yep.
What else is going on?
Still playing a crap load of Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah. How's that coming?
Still open that. Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah. I got my girlfriend into it, so that's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. It's always more fun to play with someone.
Yeah. So, like, we went to a park that's nearby, and there's, like, a ton of stops there, and that was pretty cool.
That's the bad thing. That's why I envy you for living in a state that has, like, that, you know, like, mild, temperate weather right now at this time of year. Because it's like, we could easily go walk in the park, but we'd probably freeze our asses off. Today would have been the perfect day for it.
Yeah.
So maybe when it starts getting warmer out, we can replace some of our gym days with park days. Let's see. Oh, I need to go see blacksmith guy. Yeah, it's warm in here in Ohio today. It was like 60 degrees, I think, today.
Oh, wow.
So it felt really nice.
Yeah, it's been like rainy and kind of like foggy out the last few days here. It's been kind of a bummer. I was gonna go to the park yesterday, but it was raining super bad.
Yeah. I saw on Pokemon Go they ended like the one generation of Pokemon or something. Now they're bringing in a new one from what I saw.
I have no idea.
It's like they go by like regions.
Yeah.
So I think that they said they're gonna like bring in a new region starting this week or something.
That's cool.
Like
They just started a Lunar New Year event.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Caught an Electabuzz today because of that, I think.
Oh, cool. They really started giving up later in those characters, I think, at a certain point. Like, as far as, like, the design of them and the names, they just kind of started cranking them out.
Like Stunky?
Yep, like Stunky. There's a perfect example. I couldn't think of it, but there it is.
What a mean thing to name someone.
Who wants that Pokemon in their party?
Just brutal, man.
Stunky. Here you go, Stunky. Go out into battle.
I think my evolved Stunky is like one of my more powerful Pokemon in that game right now, though.
That's really funny. What kind of Pokemon is it?
I think it's just like a normal.
Okay. When you sent me a screenshot of that and showed me that that was a real name of a Pokemon, I was just like, well, I gotta delete this game now.
I got a Flareon today. I evolved one of my
cool.
Eevees. That was cool.
So here's a little tip for you. It's sometimes hard to control the evolution of Eevees. So like if you evolve your next one, you might just get another Flareon.
Yeah.
Do you know about how to change that?
I figured it was like time of day and weather type of stuff.
That's the one way to do it. The other way is there are literally just names you can name them if you want a certain one.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so I can't remember what they are. They're really random. Like, they don't have anything to do with Pokemon at all. But, like, if you just give it a certain name and then evolve it in Eevee, you'll get that Pokemon. So I evolved 2 Eevees in a row and got 2 Vaporeons in a row. And I was like, all right, there's got to be a better way to do this.
It's got to be a better way.
Got to be a better way. And so, yeah, I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, so you name it this and you get a Flareon, and then for the later Eevee evolutions, it's the same thing. So, like, you get, like, the Espeon and what were the other ones called? Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been to any parks or anything lately to get any Pokestops, but I at least catch a couple Pokemon daily, and then I get my steps in at the gym. Yeah. So I've been racking up those things they give you on Monday. So, yeah, today was, Count Your Steps Day or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah. Are you a 50 kilometers guy or just the 25.
I think just 25.
Yeah, I got close to 50 this week.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought that I was really going to rack it in, but it's hard to get that many kilometers of walking
Yeah.
in. Also, I think when I'm on the elliptical, it's not counting like every step because it's like a weird stride motion that you make. Because I thought for sure like that's where I'm going to make up for the most steps, but nah. It is a nice thing though, being rewarded for walking from playing a game.
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of nice every Monday. It's like I turn it on. And it's like, hey, you burned a lot of calories this week. Here's your reward.
Yeah.
And it just gives you like 20 Pokeballs. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, I can get used to that.
Yep.
I think that's all I've ever... Have you ever gotten anything else besides Pokeballs from it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But, like, I wouldn't really want anything else, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see.
I did splurge. I found out I had some Google Play credit, and so I bought 100 coins so I could upgrade my bag.
Oh, yeah. That becomes a problem after a while.
Because I was going on walks and being like, you're filled up, and I was getting all this nonsense.
Yeah. That gets really frustrating after a while. Like, if you even get, like, semi-serious about Pokemon Go, you have to put at least a little bit of cash into it to upgrade the bag, and then, what's the other thing? The, not the Pokédex, right?
But, like the storage?
Yeah, storage. Yeah, like Pokemon storage. Yeah, I got to a point where I was like, I have to upgrade this because I want, like, one of every Pokemon that I can get.
Yeah.
At least one. I think I'm going to walk up to that community center.
Frozen Geode.
I'm going to walk up to the community center and see how much more gold corn we need.
There we go. That's what I want.
Oh, the dog's blocking my way.
Damn you, dog.
Oh, there he is. There's the boy.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to talk about just because when Kingdom Hearts came out, that's pretty much all I did for a week.
Yeah.
And now that I'm near the end of it, Aaron was telling me like the end game stuff isn't great. It's like extremely grindy.
Ugh.
And so I think I'm going to put the game down for a while after that. I've put 30 hours into it as of now.
Yeah.
And so I think after I beat the story, I'll have to put at least another 4 or 5 hours into it to beat the story from here, according to him. So, and I'm done with like the Disney worlds now. So like now it's just like the actual Kingdom Hearts worlds I have to do.
Oh.
Where's the corn bundle? Is it?
I think it's up here. Yeah. It's in the pantry. Oh, Lord. Yeah, you need 5 gold corn.
And how many do we have? Does it say?
No, you have to like put them all in at once. Oh, you have
to put them all in at once? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I've only got 2.
I guess we need a regular corn too. I don't know I have not been paying attention.
Yeah. Turns out sometimes it's hard to talk and play video games.
No, I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Catching up on a lot of podcasts recently, like old episodes of stuff. So that's been cool.
Like what?
So I was sitting with like 150 back episodes of stuff for a long time. The main one I'm chewing through right now is Still Untitled with Adam Savage. So it's like an Adam Savage podcast.
Is that the guy from Mythbusters?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so been just listening to a bunch of those episodes because they're like half an hour each. And I play them on like 1.2 times speed.
Oh, okay, to get through them quicker.
Yeah, to get through them just a little bit quicker. I found that's the fastest I can listen to them without
getting annoyed.
Making it seem super weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried listening to a podcast one time on that speed and I just couldn't do it. So now I just have to set the time aside to do it.
Yeah, I listen to that on 1.2x. And I listen to Rebel FM on 1.2x. I don't really listen to anything else that fast, but
yeah. I started listening to that waypoint thing at the gym today when I was on the treadmill and the elliptical.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I like them a lot anyway, but hearing them
Yeah.
just like goof off and talk about Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
4 is,
It's really goofy.
yeah,
It's a lot more casual than like normal Waypoint stuff.
for sure.
Yeah, but it's been fun to listen to and just be like, what is happening in this series I have
Yeah,
never played?
let me tell you that playing it doesn't make any of it any clearer.
No.
Because, like I said, I played the shit out of 1 and 2, and I was
Yeah.
fairly young at that time. I was still in middle school when both those games came out, I think. Let me think. What year was the first Kingdom Hearts? So 2 was 14 years ago, so that would be 2005?
Jeez. Yeah.
So I think 1 was 2 years prior to that, so 2003.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure how old I would have been. I mean, middle school age, probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, back then I wasn't invested in games for the story, at least not in the way I
Yeah.
would be now, but the story still captivated me. And then when 2 came around and they started adding all these crazy, batshit crazy storylines and characters and stuff, I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be a game series just about like the Disney and Pixar experiences and the, you know, the characters and the gameplay.
Yeah.
And then when those other games started coming out, I played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. It was like a card-based game.
Okay.
So like when you would attack, you'd have to use cards.
Huh.
So it was like kind of like a deck building game. It was probably like the first like deck building game that I played.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that game a lot. And then, like I said, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance and all those have been, you know, just sprinkled out over the last, you know, however many years. And I've never felt compelled to play them until now, whenever I'm like, oh, I've watched like 3 or 4 summary videos on YouTube and I still don't know what's going on. But then at the same time, I'm like, is playing these games going to make any of it any clearer? And I'm like, the answer's still probably not. But I'm determined, though, at some point I'm going to go back and get that collection that they put out for PlayStation 4 that has all of them. So I'm going to get that at some point and play through all of them and just, you know, might as well.
Yeah, I thought about doing that a while ago, but then I was just like, man, I just don't have the time. Like, there's so many games.
And the thing
they're
is,
like long games too.
Yeah, well, like Natalie was saying on that Waypoint podcast, like it's like 40 hours of just cutscenes alone in this series, and it's like, god damn.
Yeah, no thanks, pal.
The one thing I will say too, another knock against this game is, and maybe it's just me now that I'm older, like in retrospect, I'm just now noticing this, but the voice acting and the cutscenes, like, or actually I should just say the directing of the cutscenes is really awful.
Huh.
Like the way the characters interact with each other. Like, for example, the other day I was like talking to somebody as Sora, like Sora was talking to somebody, and he like said his line, and then he just stopped, and like his like character model was just standing there and staring for like a good 3 or 4 seconds. And then the other person like started talking. So it's just a bunch of awkward silences like that I feel like if somebody would have just like gone through this like the way they should have, like, and quality checked it, like, hey, maybe, you know, let's take a fine-tooth comb to our game and like take out these awkward pauses.
Yeah.
I feel like they just didn't do that. But yeah, that's like all throughout the game. There'll just be these awkward pauses. The only way I could equate it to where you'd understand is be like, if you're on stage doing a play and you're like supposed to be like giving the next person a line, like you say your line fine, but then the next person forgets for a second, but then they remember and they say it enthusiastically as if they remembered it the whole time. That's kind of what this is like. And like I said, these games aren't winning any awards anytime soon for their voice acting or for their story or anything, but it's like, man, I don't know. Some of the Pixar worlds are really charming, though.
That's cool.
The Toy Story one frustrated me a little bit. Because at that point in the game, it's one of the first ones you visit, and you're not very, you know, high-powered yet. And there are, like, these toy robots that you have to fight. And if you can't find, like, your own toy robot, like, just laying around, then you have to fight these things basically by hand, and it just really sucks.
Oh, weird.
But then, like, once you, like, down one of them, you can hop in it. So you can hop in like any that you've downed. So it becomes a neat mechanic, but getting there was really frustrating.
Sure.
And then the level design of that too, which I'm not going to go too deep into this game because I know that some people watching and listening to this might want to play it someday.
Yeah.
but it's in a toy store setting, and it's like a multi-floored. It's like 3 or 4 floors, and so if you fall from like one floor to the next,
Oh
the
boy.
enemies just keep respawning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just get stuck in these endless battles. And with the mech thing, like I said before, it's just like, man, it's like I'm getting really close to dying. My teammates are dying.
Yeah.
But like I said, my biggest or my most favorite thing about this game is the combat. It's never felt more smooth. It feels really
Yeah.
smooth and really fluid, and I'm really thankful for that. I like all the special attacks that they've added. The only thing that's weird is like, have you watched gameplay footage of this?
A little bit. Yeah.
So like the menu, like the attack menu, basically.
Yeah.
Have you seen like the green triangle prompts that pop up above the menu?
I know what they are. I think. Yeah,
Okay,
they're like the
so when you do
exhibit
like,
or the
yes,
whatever it's called,
yeah,
attraction.
yeah. So when you, well, that too, but it like just all of your special attacks, but that they're all button mapped to Y, and they just
Okay.
appear randomly. So like, let's say I use the Keyblade a bunch. Okay, I'll get a triangle pop up that gives me like a special Keyblade move. Well, at the same time, if I'm also casting a bunch of spells, I'll also get a triangle pop up for like my special magic thing.
Huh.
They just appear in random order, so like you can't select which one you want to use. Like, let's say like the one that you really want to use is 3 up in that column.
Yeah.
You have to use the bottom 2 first, whether you want to or not, to get to the one that you want to get to.
Huh.
So it feels like a weird game design choice, which that's my thing about this game, is they made a lot of really bizarre choices with some of it.
Yeah.
It just seems like if they had like taken an extra couple months to go over it or something, which is insane to say considering they've had 14 fucking years.
Yeah.
But and I know they obviously haven't been working on it all 14 years, but I don't know. That's the only way I could say it and be as clear as I could be, is that some of it feels
Sure.
like it was made 14 years ago, and some of it feels like it was made last week, like rushed at the last minute. So it's a bizarre thing, and I think it's a Half-Life 3 scenario where I never thought I was going to get it. So now that I have it, I'm just being ungrateful about it.
Sure.
So like I feel bad even like shit talking it in the slightest, because it's like, well, I could just not have it at all.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that they made it, and I'm going to keep playing it. And then other than that, just been watching random movies and episodes of shows of stuff,
Yeah.
of stuff at work.
I'm watching The Punisher.
Oh
The
yeah,
second-
I've never
Punisher.
watched any of that. Is that pretty
It's
good?
pretty good. I like it. It's a little. There's some episodes that could be easily, but
Yeah.
I've liked it so far.
Is it your
Watched,
favorite of the Marvel shows on Netflix?
I don't think so. I think my favorite's still Luke Cage. I really like that first season of Luke Cage. I never watched the second season,
Okay.
but yeah, liking that. Watched finished the series of Unfortunate Events.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay.
I watched the
what else?
first 2 or the only 2 available seasons of a show on Netflix called QB1 Beyond the Lights.
Okay.
That was a documentary about high school quarterbacks that have already signed with a college, so now they're playing like their
Oh.
last year at high school. And
That
been,
seems really interesting.
it is very, very interesting, and it's like, it feels really genuine. Like it feels like you're actually in high school with them. And it's also been making me wax nostalgic quite a bit too.
Meh.
Like obviously I didn't play sports in high school, but
Yeah.
it makes me, nostalgic for the high school, time period that I was in. But
That's interesting. That sounds really interesting.
yeah. So it's a lot of like Friday Night Lights style, like sports action scenes, like documentary style, obviously. And then it actually delves a lot more into their personal lives and stuff too than you would think. Like the whole point of the show, I think, is that there's just more to life than football, even though the show's about football. So it tries to show as much of their like extracurricular stuff as they can, and like their friendships and relationships and stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, even if you're even remotely interested in football, I'd recommend that. So I've been like, I'm in a weird spot where I finished that show and I liked it so much, but I know there's like nothing else similar I can watch right now.
Yeah.
So I've just been kind of playing random stuff. Because I'll have days where, and I know we've probably discussed this on the show before, but Ben always gets mad when I talk about how I can watch stuff at work.
Yeah.
Which I'm incredibly grateful for that, but I still, like, I'm one of the worst people that I know with decision nausea. Like, I can't decide on something to watch.
Sure.
And so I can't do that shit at work, because otherwise I'd just be sitting there flipping through Netflix, not actually working.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just, like, push play on the first thing that catches my eye, whether it's a movie I've never seen before or a movie I've seen a million times. Like, today I watched a movie called The Replacements.
Okay.
Which is a football movie with Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman in it.
All right.
I've always liked that movie. That movie's really dumb and fun. But I was like, this is the first football movie I could find in my library. So, yeah, click
nice.
play. And then what else? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I watched this incredibly frustrating true crime documentary. Oh God, what was the name of that thing?
What's it about?
So it's the one where the little girl is like the guy is like, he's not like a sexual predator, but he's like a pedophile. But
okay.
the family, like, well, I guess they're the same thing. But I don't know. He has this past history of, like, he has like this infatuation with little girls, basically. Like, he did this in a town, he did this in a town already, like another town, and he got caught for it, and he got put in jail, and he served his time, and now he's out. So now he basically deceives this whole entire family. So, like, he becomes really good friends with the mom and dad first, and then he slowly starts, like, sneaking his way into, like, their daughter's life. And the insane part of this thing that's so frustrating is, like, maybe 20 or 30 minutes into this thing, it's like an hour and a half long, but 20 or 30 minutes into this thing, the guy says, "Hey, can I take your daughter on a trip with me?" And they just let him do it. And then he basically kidnaps her.
Wild.
And then they don't call the cops. They wait like 3 days.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes. It's fucking infuriating.
That's bonkers, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
what?
I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to spoil. Well, I know you're probably never going to watch it. But somebody might. I feel bad about spoiling this, but I almost can't not tell you what happens after that. Let's just say it happens again.
Oh my God. Speaking
man.
of bonkers documentaries, I don't think we talked about this on stream. The Fire Fest documentary.
Oh, Jesus. Yes.
That thing stressed me out.
God. Okay, so all I knew about the Fire Festival was that it was this big music festival that was kind of like this Mark Zuckerberg kind of guy that promises things but never delivers on them.
Yeah, it was just very like, oh, look at this exclusive thing that all these jerks are going to. Yeah. Okay, jerks, have fun.
So,
but yeah, that documentary is so bonkers.
I don't know how anybody ridiculous. That bought tickets to that didn't know that this was going to happen.
I don't know, man. I just don't know how that cult of personality around that dude, like the leader dude, is so crazy. I mean, like, how has not everybody just been like, "Oh no, I'm out. What are you doing?"
It's funny that you say the word cult. That's what his like circle of people around him seemed like was like a genuine cult. Like they just listened to whatever he said.
It was pretty ridiculous.
I'm trying to continue watching. Let me see if I can find the name of this thing that I watched. I hate that Netflix does this. It like shuffles up your continue watching thing. Would it be in my list? In a weird way, I almost don't want to give the name of this thing because I don't think anybody else should have to suffer through this because it was stressful in the way that the Fire Festival thing was stressful.
Yeah.
It was like the consequences were so much more dire than the Fire Festival thing. It was like this little girl's life has been being put in danger, and like it's more the fault of the parents who are stupid enough to let it keep happening than it is the guy who's like doing it. And then the craziest part. He seduces the mom, okay?
What?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes. He, like, earns their trust. Like I said, he's, like, their friends. He became their friends first. He makes the mom fall in love with him, even after doing all this.
What?
she goes and meets with him, and they have sex in like his like RV or whatever. She
What?
keeps it as a secret from her husband, and then her husband gets seduced by the guy, and
What is that? This
and he
sounds.
gives the
What?
guy a hand job in his car because the guy said he needed to relieve the tension. Yeah, oh my god.
But what?
Yeah, it's a weird documentary. I felt really really dirty watching it the whole time.
Wow,
I
that
just
sounds fascinating.
yeah, I will say the one thing about it is that it kept me watching for sure. Cuz I was like it
Wow.
can't get worse, right?
Yeah,
And then it just kept getting worse.
that's fascinating.
And so yeah, so you find out that's like the man in the relationship. That's his main motivation for not telling the police or anything sooner is because he didn't want to be outed as like potentially gay or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a wild ride. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me
I
now.
think we might have missed something. Hold on.
We
Go
probably
check the
did.
calendar. I think we might have missed the Halloween festival. Oh, today's festival is being set up. Come back later. Okay, so it's
Okay.
today. Whew.
Oh, it's like I think it was called like In Plain Sight or like Abducted
Oh
in Plain
boy.
Sight or something. Let me see so I can confirm this. In Plain. Yeah, Abducted in Plain Sight is the name of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it says in this true crime documentary, a family falls prey to the manipulative charms of a neighbor who abducts their adolescent daughter. Period. Twice. Period. So it's such a okay. And then the crazy part is like this takes place over the course of several years. So as the girl gets older, she starts to become more aware of the fact that like this 40
Hey, maybe
year
this guy bad?
yeah, well no, but like she's in love with him though is the thing.
Oh boy.
She's in love with him and she doesn't want to leave him. Like the guy literally goes to the parents at one point. And he's like in his 40s and she's
Yeah.
like 12 or 13 or something like that. And
Yeah.
he says, "Can I have permission to marry your daughter?"
Uh,
And they ask the daughter. It's not even an immediate no. They ask the daughter, "Do you want to marry him?" And she says yes. Oh,
what?
yeah, it's oh boy. So again, if you want to subject yourself to this and are curious after hearing me and Ben talk about it, it's called Abducted in Plain Sight. It's on Netflix. It's almost like one of those things where I feel like if I was just reading it, it wouldn't have been so
Yeah.
bad, but having to watch it play out,
Yeah.
oh man. Yeah, at one point she like goes and stays with him and the parents are just they're completely fine with it for like the second time. And the only communication they have with her is cuz this was back in I don't know. I can't remember the year it was. Pre 2000s, let's just say.
Okay.
Like maybe 70s, 80s, 90s
Sure.
or something like that. I can't remember, but so the only contact they have with her is when she calls them because she calls from a different place every time because
Yeah.
she's just like traveling the fucking country with this guy.
Yeah.
And so like they have actual recordings that they play of their conversations on this documentary and she's just like totally brainwashed by this guy. She's like, "Oh yeah, me and him went swimming today and we were splashing around and giggling and having a great time." And they're like, "Well, where are you, honey?" And she's just like, "Oh, it's not important, I love him and I'll go anywhere with him," and just like all this crazy stuff. It's so yeah, it's a really don't watch it unless you're really in the mood to be upset.
Man.
Yeah, the anxiety that documentary gave me was maybe even double that of the Fire Festival.
Yeah, no,
anxiety.
definitely.
So, I wasn't expecting it because I watch a lot of true crime stuff, and so I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of shit on some of these shows, like some just gruesome, horrible things. And this was just so more psychologically worse than I could have imagined. But yeah, oh man.
Should I buy a chicken in this game? Because it's going to be winter soon.
If you buy a chicken, you have to buy a heater.
Oh, man.
That's
Oh,
up to
heaters
you.
are only 2,000.
Yeah, it's not bad.
How do you buy a chicken?
Go to Marnie.
Oh, you purchase animals. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to get one? Because I'm
chickens are
like
great.
down here.
I'm here already.
Here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So more about the Fire Festival thing because I feel like we can't just gloss over that.
Ooh, what do we need to name our chicken? peanut.
Okay,
There we go.
so what was your? I guess it's a weird word to say favorite, but
Yeah.
what was your favorite part of the Fire Festival documentary? And to be clear, we're talking about the Netflix one, not the Hulu one.
Oh boy, I don't know, man. The water scene
Yeah,
where they're like how they got this. There's this scene where he's just like, we imported all this water, and they wouldn't let it go through customs unless we paid them this amount.
yep,
And then the crazy leader dude is like, hey, this nice guy who I like immediately texted Aaron about was like, hey, I love this dude. This dude rocks. He's my favorite part of this whole crazy thing.
yeah,
Yeah, they asked him to do something pretty heinous, and it was deeply upsetting.
yep, yep.
So that these people could get their Evian water, like their
Yeah.
super expensive water.
Also, one of the most insane parts to me about this whole thing was that they would have been able to carry out the festival as planned if they would have just not said that it was
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar's island in the promotional materials, and that's like what they led with.
Yeah.
What an amazing power move, though, when you think about it. Like, hey, don't say that this is Pablo Escobar's island,
Yeah.
and then cut to scene a couple days later. Come to our party on Pablo Escobar's island.
It's like id text.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was also like, what are you doing?
And then
like,
this
it was
is...
a nice island too, and so now it's like on this island that's populated.
Yeah. And then also, like, the famous picture that surfaced afterwards, the cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
I love that, too.
Yeah.
So that's what the people ended up getting that had paid these, like, what, I'd say thousands of dollars to be there?
Yeah.
Hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars?
Oh, thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars to be there. And they get, what was it, like a salad? Like a tiny, like just some lettuce?
It was like this tiniest piece of lettuce with like some radishes or something on it.
And then a piece of bread with cheese on it.
Like a craft single on it.
Yeah. The most upsetting part for me was at the end, the lady at the end.
Oh, yeah, that really sucked. But yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah. But
no,
like
that
Aaron
whole
said,
thing
they came back
was
and they redeemed
ridiculous.
her. Didn't she get her money back or something?
Yeah, they did a GoFundMe or something like that.
Okay. Well, that's good at least. But man, what a giant disaster. Okay, and then kind of like the abduction thing, like he got away with it once.
Oh yeah,
he gets away with it once.
He's just committing like epic fraud at this point.
Yeah. Like he gets away with the Fire Festival thing. He's like awaiting to find out if he's going to go to jail for a long time or not. And while he's out, like on bail, basically, he starts this other thing.
Oh boy!
And it, like, promises people like Victoria's Secret, like fashion show tickets or like VIP tickets to concerts and stuff.
Yeah, like tickets to the Met Gala.
Yeah,
like that isn't even a ticketed event; it's an invite-only event.
Yep.
Oh yeah, dude, it was something else.
It's just like the abduction documentary. It's deeply upsetting, but it's like you can't look away.
Yeah. It was absurd.
Yeah. All right, what time does this festival start? What's the festival? Is it the I forget what festival this is we're about to go into.
It's the Halloween
thing.
I thought going into the sauna like brought your energy up.
That's what I thought too.
Maybe it's when you leave. Oh, that's the women's locker room. You can't go in there.
No, don't go in there. And then something, this was like a couple months ago now that I watched it, but on Netflix, that series called The Innocent Man.
Mm-hmm.
That was another true crime documentary, not nearly as outrageous and outlandish as Fire Festival or as Abducted in Plain Sight, but just kind of crazy in that they thought that they had the guy the entire time, and then it wasn't him, and then just
Yeah.
keep rinse and repeat that situation over and over again. It's
Oh
like
boy,
this
really?
is yeah, it's like this is our justice system. Like they just pick whoever
Yeah.
seems convenient at the time, and then when they can't like pin it all on him, they try another person. And they're like, well,
Ugh.
don't worry, this is the guy. Don't worry,
Oh
and then
boy.
it's just not. But no, that was really interesting to me because when I was growing up, my mom read a lot of this guy's books, the author John Grisham,
Yeah.
and he's like a really famous fiction mystery writer.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And this is the only nonfiction book that he ever wrote. And
Right.
so it's interesting that they made this into a documentary, and he actually is like on the show at times to like narrate for it too.
Yeah, because I think I saw like a Netflix trailer for it or whatever, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Why would you write this book?"
yeah.
Like, what would make you write nonfiction?
I think he said his main reason was like because it's like even more hard to believe than the stories that I
Yeah,
make
yeah,
up all
yeah,
the time.
yeah,
And it truly is like it's insane what this whole
yeah.
process was. And that was like a
Huh.
more extended thing, like more than just a documentary. That was an actual series, but it was like 6 hour
Okay.
long episodes or something. So I binged that in a day. And yeah, oh man, there's some good true crime stuff out there.
Yeah, I want to watch that one about the bank robber that had the explosive collar on his neck or whatever it was.
Oh
I
yeah,
forget
yeah,
what it's
yeah,
called, but I remember back in the day watching like a TV episode about like a TV documentary about it.
yeah, yeah. That's a
Be
really
like, this
fascinating
is
story too.
wild.
Yeah. The biggest
Um,
gap in my true crime repertoire is I've never read Truman Capote's book In Cold Blood.
I haven't either.
Which I for the longest time I didn't even know that was a like true crime nonfiction book either.
Yeah.
And so I like when I found out when I because I've always really liked true crime shows and
Okay.
stories and stuff, but I guess my since my parents never introduced me to that one, I just never knew about it. And
Sure.
then I don't know what year it was, but Philip Seymour Hoffman played Capote in that movie just called Capote,
Yeah.
and that movie's about him writing in cold blood.
Hmm.
And so I saw that like recently, and I was like, I wonder how closely related this is to the book. And then I was like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, this book sounds really good. So I got the book, and I'm planning on reading that soon.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, and then we get. Did I ever tell you about that app that we watch stuff on called Pluto?
God.
That free app.
Mm-mm.
So it's just like a free streaming service called Pluto, and
Okay.
it's like channel based. So like they have blocks of channels. Like when you're surfing through it, it looks like you're in like a TV guide kind of thing.
Oh, that's
And there'll
neat.
be like a comedy section. There'll be like a movie section. Well, anyway, they've got like a whole channel that just plays unsolved mysteries 24 hours a day.
Oh,
And so like when
that's
I'm
neat.
really not feeling like watching anything else, that's been my go-to. Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries was the one show that my grandma and I had in common that we just loved watching together. And so she's the one that got me hooked on all that stuff. And speaking of my grandma, she's actually back in the hospital as of today. So
Uh-oh.
so keep her in your thoughts. I would appreciate that. Yeah, she was in the hospital a couple weeks ago with some really bad hip pain and some like confusion and some other weird symptoms that don't necessarily like, go together.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't figure it out. The hip stuff they got resolved, or at least they thought they did. There was like some fluid in her hip.
Mm-hmm.
And so they drained that and she started being able to walk a little bit better. And then the confusion they think was just from like dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now she's been getting like therapy at home and stuff, and she was doing really good. And they were like literally about to like tell her she could be off the walker. And then my mom texted me this morning, and it's like, well, she's back in the hospital again.
Oh, sorry,
So,
bud.
No, it's all right. But yeah, that's the grandma that I was talking about that got me onto Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah. Going into the spooky maze. Spooky
yeah.
maze time.
Oh yeah, I'm already almost to the end of it. The cool part. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
I'm gonna let the viewers see the cool part of this maze, which is the secret passage that takes you to the treasure chest, and you get the golden pumpkin. I'm curious if it lets you get the golden pumpkin as well. Is that chest open on your screen already?
No.
Okay, so you should be
I
able.
do like these little hands sticking up out of the ground. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and I like the spookiness of it, like the TVs with the static and the
Yeah.
random images. And I like the soundtrack in this part too.
Yeah, it's cool. What's up, you big spider weirdos?
There's lots of little cool details in this game, like this hidden passage that you wouldn't see on like your first playthrough. Even though now I'm looking back on it and it's like, how would I have never not noticed like the obvious like line in the ground that like shows you there's a path through the hedges?
Ah, shoot. Oh, there we go.
I
got like stuck in the cave. I felt like.
Get you that golden pumpkin.
I received a golden pumpkin.
I think pretty much the only thing you can do with that is like sell it. I don't think there's
I
anything else
just said it's valuable but has no other purpose.
Okay. All right, well, we're coming up on the hour mark for this episode. So what do you say we call it after we finish up this maze here? Thanks again to everybody who watches the YouTube videos that we've been uploading. We really appreciate it. Hope you got a chance to check out our new series, XDOM, the crossover between Fast and the Furious and XCOM. The first episode was really just about setting up the character, setting up the premise, and then I think in this next episode we're going to get a little bit more deeper into it. And
Combat time,
and Ben's got a table going, so we're going to get some more organization going on with the character names and car colors and all that. So thank you, Ben, for doing that. And then we're going to be recording another episode of Game Dev Tycoon. And like I said, I don't know about you, after that last episode, I really feel like it might be time to bring in a consultant, like somebody who really, knows what they're doing. So, might just have a special guest on the next episode of Game Dev Tycoon.
Oh, do we have to do it? We just had to solve the maze, right? That's
just solve the maze, yep. And then you could, buy the rare crow and other stuff, and that's about it.
But no.
Oh, yeah, and then we have an episode of Game Dev Tycoon that we haven't released yet, so that'll be coming up on YouTube within the next couple days. So, yeah, we'll have a new Sunset and Stardew this week, this episode, and then we'll have a new episode of Game Dev Tycoon. Hopefully, new episodes of, or a new episode of XDOM as well.
Yeah.
But, all right, Ben, thanks for joining me again.
All right, bud.
And we'll see you guys next time on Adjective Noun Gaming presents Sunset and Stardew Valley. Good night, everybody.